Hi everybody, Rachelle Jones, Lunch and Live 11:45. Is this the first Friday of the year?
Yeah.
Nice. Nichole's back.
Hello.
Yay, Happy New Year. She likes talking with you guys because grief recovery is special. Oh my gosh, what are you doing all the way from New York City? Well, hi, I love you. Thank you. Hi. Oh my gosh, Maddie, Cheryl, thank you. Thank you for being here. It's Friday. Wait. Oh, I turned it around. That's a nice picture of the wall. Happy New Year. You're welcome. Okay, so Nichole wanted to be on today because she has this topic that she keeps bringing up, and I was like, well, you're going to talk about it then. What is it, Nichole?
I think recently I've really been focusing on truth and what truth means to my heart and what truth, just the difference between really feeling your emotional truth and making it being in the present moment. And so I really liked when Rachelle introduced me to the grief recovery method of truth. And so I've just really been in touch with that recently.
The grief recovery, the definition of truth. So, like the one of unconditional love.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yep.
If we remember the grief recovery method, the definition we have for the meaning of unconditional love is for others, unconditional love for others is to allow people the right and the ability to make their own choices for themselves without the need for approval for others. Do you remember the one for yourself? It's not meant to be a test, so if you don't, it's okay.
No.
Okay, but we know what it feels like, right? Yeah. The definition of unconditional love for ourself is acquiring the ability to make choices for ourselves without the need to of approval for others. So unconditionally loving others is not requiring someone to be satisfied. It's just letting them be where they are and loving them where they are, but then empowering them so that they can make a different choice if that's what they choose, but not to demand it. And then loving myself is the same concept. It's letting me make choices for myself without like, oh, what are they going to say? Are they going to be okay with it? I have a unique voice that I have to listen to. So yeah. You like that definition?
Yeah, I think the one that hit me the most was the unconditional truth for myself. I think recently I've just been in touch with just going based off of what my heart wants and just what my heart's telling me. I've really just started focusing on myself and not focusing on the approval of others. I think that a lot of times in my life I've really wanted the approval or seeked approval or wanted others just to like know who I am, and I've just focused on myself more.
Yeah.
So
freedom,
yeah, it's brought a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see it in you.
Yeah.
So you shared something recently about a truth that you knew it was there.
Yeah.
But you had a big change recently.
Yeah.
Do you feel safe to share that?
Great.
Yeah, about like what's happening usually at this time of year and how it's been for you so far, but a change that you noticed this year.
So I've noticed this year that with going through just different classes and just being more in touch with my emotions, I've noticed that this year that I've just been a lot more connected to my emotions. I've been able to just be more present in the moment. I've been able just to be focused on each little piece of time more, and I've been just really in touch with just my heart recently. So
how about truth? There's a truth in your life about illness. Yeah.
Oh, so
there's been a truth that you've experienced a big shift in.
So with both my parents went through a really hard time about 5 or 6 years ago. Both of them had surgery, and so when I've been able to use the tools that I've learned, and I've been able to be in touch with just my emotions there, more truthful to myself, and realizing, wow, I need to focus on just the grieving with the pain, and then just focusing on, I don't know how to put it.
So something I remember, which we did talk about this, not to such detail, but so I know that we're allowed to talk about the subject. We talked about it off camera.
Yeah.
Hi Jones, thanks for joining. Oh, you're amazing, Nichole. Look at that. Thank you.
Yes.
So there was a truth that you were sharing that you normally couldn't even talk about it. So, like, draw out the contrast between what that pain felt like for all these years, and then what has been this, like, wait a minute, that's very different. Tell me what you were before and what you see now about that one topic.
Okay, so with my parents, I was never able to go about just, like, talking about them, or every time I would talk about just the experience that I went through, I always felt so just broken and just so sad, which it is a sad moment when your family goes through such a tragic time. But I think recently, now having a different perspective, I've been able to express my emotions, and when I talk about those times, it's not as painful anymore. And the tools have just taught me, yes, those are memories, but there's not really pain that has to be associated with it anymore. So I think I'm just so grateful for the tools, and just the work that I've done has taught me that I can remember these moments, but they don't have to be painful anymore.
Yeah. Which is so interesting, right? Because we can talk about that,
Yeah.
but until you have that moment where you feel it and you're like, wait a minute, I normally would be responding like this in that moment. And so it's not even this, often it's a measurable difference. Like, you notice as you're going through the class, you know, because it's 8 classes, so you notice, wait, it's starting to feel different, it's starting to feel different, it's starting to feel different. And then once we get to that final one, it's like, that's noticeably different. But then some time passes, and then you have this moment of, wait a minute, I would normally feel like this. It's like an even bigger aha moment, this bigger realization of freedom.
Yeah, for sure.
Emotional freedom. So, grief. Do you remember how, like, people don't understand there's a difference between grief and sadness?
Yes.
Do you remember
Yeah.
can you help us, your perspective?
So sadness, I think, it's so interesting because sadness can be associated with grief, but with grief, it's anything that's unsaid. And so I think that learning the difference between the two has really changed my perspective.
Yeah. It's all the unsaid stuff. But physically it feels like, you know, there's a bug. So, I just had a flashback to a Kevin Hart video I saw recently, and I could just picture him bolting right now. But anyway, okay, there's my little throw out. But grief, it feels like that little jab, that little jolt. Maybe it's a big jab or a big jolt, but it's like a physical, painful sensation. That's what grief is. Yeah. Hi, thanks for joining. Happy New Year. But grief is that physical, painful stab when you have that memory or that moment or that situation. Sadness is not a physical, painful jab. Sadness is just, I really miss them. And it's just this, like, floating by moment and thought.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
I can't see Nichole enough. We want to see more of Nichole in there. But sadness is this floating by thought, and you're going to have sadness in your life. You know, when you come into a grief recovery class, you work on something like Nichole did that's very painful, very heavy, and would you say, like, pulls you out of the moment and can take over and create a shadow or a cloud over a time frame. You know, you think of those dates. Oh no, that date's coming. That's when this person moved, or that person died, or this health problem happened, or, like, you know it's coming because you could feel that on the inside. That's grief versus, we're at that day again. That really stinks. Hey, did I tell you that movie I saw, like, you're able to just sit with it and be still for a second, but then you're able to move on to the next thing. Not that you're moving on, but you sat with it and you acknowledged it. Oh, that feels sad. I acknowledged it. But then I'm able to just okay, what's my next moment?
Yeah.
I'm able to be present in the moments as they're coming versus stuck and weighted down in just the one painful one. So there's nothing wrong with grief. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling it. But oftentimes we don't want to feel that pain forever. That moment that's just pulling us out. Yeah. That's what I think stuck out to me so much about what you said. Wait, I've never been able to talk about this ever.
Yeah.
And definitely without tears.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That was recently.
Yeah.
I think I have a Voxer about it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh yeah, she got it. She got it.
Yeah.
So, what else sticks out to you about your experience with grief recovery?
Truth. What else sticks
Yeah,
out?
connected to truth, because you say that all the time. We need to talk about truth.
I think the main thing is just like being in touch just with your emotions, and then just really expressing them and letting them happen too. I think just letting the moments come and being present in the moments, because I feel like a lot of times people tell you to, oh, just keep busy, kind of the myths that you learn, or just keep busy or it'll pass by, or don't worry about it, it'll work itself out. And so I think going through the class and just learning more about grief recovery, it's taught me that the moments are supposed to be there. They're always going to be there. It's just how you're going to deal with them, and letting yourself being true to yourself and just allowing them to happen.
Yeah. Versus push them away.
Pushing them away.
And act like they're not there.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the most frustrating moments or comments that I hear. Oh gosh, I hear so many. But one of them is focus on the positive and focus on the joy. Find your gratitude, which I want you to hear. I definitely agree with all of those things. You know that I do. But when we're so hyper-focused on only the good, only the positive, only the sweet moments, only, we're missing a whole nother side of our life. And I don't know about you, but cutting ourselves in half doesn't sound appealing, does it? Because it isn't. And so in your emotional health, it's still not appealing. It's not it's not correct. The other side of joy is just as necessary. But the thing is, nobody's taught us what to do with it. Did anybody teach you?
No,
nobody taught me either. And it's not through neglect. It's literally just because society as a whole just really doesn't know. And so we're just re-educating ourselves, and in re-educating it gives us permission to find some different moments for ourselves that maybe we'd like to feel different about, and then it also shows us, and we take action together. We don't just talk about it all the time. I get tired of hearing my own voice. I couldn't imagine 8 weeks of you having to hear me. I mean, it's too much. I didn't want to hear my own self. So we take action. It's this is a total immersion style class. You're in it. You're involved, and it's scientifically proven to be effective, which no other class or system or method has that connected to it, to be honest. So we're really proud of that at the Grief Recovery Institute, to have that scientifically proven stamp on there. It's a big deal. Truth, all of it, not just the sweet parts, not just the fun parts. And it can sound scary. Like, why would I want to sit in the? I mean, let's think about it. When I first heard about grief recovery, it was about 2 years later before I did it, because our mind believes like, no, I'm good, I've got this. Look at me, I can hold this high job and hold all these balls in the air, and I could meet these demands, and we don't even realize that we could. This is just education. It's education about how to handle emotion correctly. And so if you haven't been through this, I'd really, who do you think should go through this? Who would you say?
Everyone.
Why do you think that's valuable?
I think it just teaches you so much about your heart, and I think we rely so much on other people's opinions and what we're taught, which is normal, but it changes just like the perspective you have on your life. And I think it puts into perspective how to deal with tragic situations. It really teaches you how to go through those situations. And it's so vital to living day-to-day life. it's just so important.
Yeah, you find you use your tools
Almost every day.
almost every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. For just yourself?
No, I use them for other relationships. I use them. I've told people about them, but I really recommend the class.
Yeah.
So.
And there are practicals too that I don't know if you. So yes, we're gonna take action together, but there are practicals for you to use all day as you're talking with other people. How many people here have to talk to other humans throughout the day?
Yes.
I do. I have a husband. I have 2 children. I have any phone call, any doctor's office appointment that I'm trying to make. Like, we're talking to people all day long. So it's about how to communicate about yourself. It's about how to even acknowledge yourself, but it's about how to listen just as much. Nobody taught us how to listen.
No.
And so by learning these skills really well and putting them into practice, that is love. Love in action. That's how you're going to give unconditional love. But I promise you, you're probably not doing it if you haven't been through this class, because you're probably trying to analyze people. You're probably trying to advise people. If that's not your job in that moment, you weren't hired for it, then it's not your job. We want to go into analysis, advice, and fixing. What were you saying?
Criticism.
Yeah, it's felt as judgment or criticism every single time. And so, we jump into all the ways we want to fix people. And I've got to be honest, if your kids are young, it's a great idea. Hi guys, thanks for joining. Thank you. It's a great idea to start young, because what we do is we tell kids what to do their whole life. We fix, advise, and then guess what happens? They become 18 or an adult, they move out of the house, and they have no idea how to form a thought. They have no idea how to move through pain. But suddenly they're an adult, and so they're just supposed to know. So what we practice now for young people is let them be heard with dignity and respect. What are you going to do about that situation? Would you like some ideas?
Yeah.
So we gently offer this opening of, would you like some ideas? And they can say yes or no. And if they say no, let them go get hurt again. It's going to require you. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah.
It's going to require, because you talk with people about your class and your experience, but you have to wait for them to fall enough times to decide they want to try something different.
Yeah.
How hard is that?
It's hard, but I know it'll come around.
Yeah. Everyone's like a 1-2 year time frame. So grief recovery is about how to put love into action for yourself, for other people. It's about compassion. It's about just growing yourself on the inside so you're a better human for other people. But just think about those people who are constantly giving you advice, analysis, and fixing. At the end of the day, does that feel good? No. You know what I want to talk with you about next time? Maybe I'll talk with you off camera to see if you actually want to do it. What kind of questions do we have? I won't actually, because it's huge. What do we have here? Love that you would like some ideas. Oh, good. Or what are you going to do about that? Yeah, good. Because we can't assume that they don't know.
Yeah.
Right? We can't assume that they don't know. They might have their own ideas, and they need to practice them right now when they're young and in your grasp. So when they practice them and it hurts and it doesn't work, they have your loving embrace right there. But then when they realize their stuff doesn't work, they have you right there to say, what do I do here?
Yeah.
Right? Because once they move out, it's harder for them to pick up the phone. It's harder for them to admit defeat because their whole life is about approval. So, we really want to start this stuff young. I don't work with the kids, I work with the adults. The adults are the ones responsible for teaching and training. Yeah. So, thank you for loving me unconditionally.
Jojo.
Hey, Joe, if you're still here, I can't tell if you are or not. Does unconditional love, does that mean everything's easy and always fun? She has to love me unconditionally, and I'm telling you, it's work. I'm a lot of work. So, what about for you?
It takes work to love someone unconditionally, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it.
Hard.
Yeah.
Hard. And sometimes, so there's one of the scriptures, because you guys know that I do have a very strong belief system in a higher power. Grief recovery is not about that. But one of my favorite scriptures is what glory, or what honor should you receive for loving people who already love you? Or that, like, basically we all know that there are people who are easy to love.
Yeah.
What glory do you get for that? The real part of your character is shown by loving people who are hard to love, or moments that are hard to love, which is me in life. So let's see. No, it doesn't. It's worth it. Nice. What? Any other thoughts you'd like to share? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that hit your truth button that you needed to talk about?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
What's this? It's discouraging when people follow in your footsteps after you're told.
Oh, we have to read it loud because they can't read it. Or they can't after we record it. It's discouraging when people won't follow in your footsteps and you've told, after you've told them of your wonderful testimony. Woo-wee.
Yeah.
Girl, that is the truth.
That is the truth.
That is some of my hardest, especially when the people are closer to you in relationship. It doesn't matter if it's a family member, a really close friend, your spiritual family. It's painful when you are trying to share from the goodness of your heart because of your really valuable experience, and then it's not reciprocated or it's not acted upon. Hey, thanks for joining, friend. Yeah, you're right. It's so painful, which is in part why I end up doing so much grief work, is to work on that pain so it doesn't build up, and then I don't want to get bitter. I don't want to be bitter and resentful for these people who I know could use some additional tools. I could see it. So you're right. It's so painful. Yes, I've been battling this. Yep. I hope you're wearing your Kevlar and your helmet, because you're right, it is a battle. It's it's an invisible battle, isn't it? Life's still going, everything's still happening. You don't actually have the flu where you're knocked down and you simply can't move. Emotional wounds hurt, and we tell ourselves that we're resilient because we keep moving. Resilience is not about keep moving. Resilience is about I could heal that wound and stand up and keep going. But it requires healing. That's where resilience comes from. Otherwise, we're just gathering wounds. We're eventually going to tire out and die. Resilience. I'm rambling. Yeah, I'm rambling. Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for joining today. What are we, 12:07? Oh, yes. Suited up. Yeah, good. Good. You and me both. And you?
Nope.
Yeah. Other ideas, thoughts, wonders?
No.
No? Questions?
No.
For the people?
No.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining for this first Luncheon Live of 2020. A new decade, a new year, a new everything. Thank you for being here with Nichole and I. Nichole, thank you for being here.
Yes.
New Year's love to all of you. I have a hard time saying like Merry Christmas or Happy New Year because I know it simply isn't merry or happy for everyone. So hi there. So I just want you to know that I love you all and I'm thankful that you're here. Sending big love. I'll be back next Friday, maybe with Nichole or maybe with someone else, but I have a really big question for who that person is going to be, and I'm excited to hear what they have to say about it. Now what I need to do is write this thought down, because as much as I think I will remember it, I probably won't. So, thanks for joining. Let's see. Thank you, EXO. Love you, friend. Thank you. I love you, too. Please keep healing. Big hug to you, Miss Escobar. Okay.
Bye, guys.
All right. Love you all. Bye, everybody.